Healthy Rebel Radio is sponsored by the Healthy Rebel app. 300 plus secretly healthy, delicious, mouth-watering dessert and treat recipes made with all-natural, whole food ingredients. Now available for download on the App Store and Google Play. Find out more details at healthyrebel.com.
Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Dr. David Dizer. I'm here with my Damien Health Healthy Rebel co-founder, Amy Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Great.
I'm a little nervous about the post or the podcast we just put out.
The one from yesterday?
Yeah, I just feel like already people are kind of taking it the wrong way.
Really?
Yeah, what we're talking about is we're putting out a podcast about where I'm talking about how I transformed my body shape, my genetics, my complete overhaul. And it's around shrinking your waist. And I talk about, the body I had and the experiences I had and being a person that was like apple shaped and the horrible names I was called and all these different things. And then the process of changing my body shape completely and shrinking my waist and getting long and lean and whatever. In the promo, of course, I'm a little more harsh and I just kind of say, here's what the podcast is about. Here's what I was called. This is who I was. Mm-hmm. And this is what I did. If you want to hear about it, we go into it. But one thing that always happens, and I mean, it's a blessing. I'm not saying it in a negative way, but we have a lot of big-hearted, sweet, defensive of me people in our community. So people are like, you were always beautiful. And I don't ever want to give, I don't ever want to make it sound like, people were mean to me, so I changed my body. That's not the situation.
Right.
And I talk about this at length in the podcast, where those mean, malicious comments, what those meant to me, what those represent, and why I constantly speak about my wounds. And one of my passions in life, and especially in my work, and well, it's all the same, my life, my work, is bringing light to darkness. And it makes people really uncomfortable. And I want to really always hone in that I didn't change because people were, quote, mean to me. That's not how it works. That wasn't my motivation. I was unhealthy, I was unhappy, and I was abusive to myself. And it was going down a really dark road. And those external comments are just representation that I use. This is where I was. It's just an example. Mm-hmm. And I don't hold any of those people in contempt. I don't have hurt or anger for those people. They're going through their own thing. And I firmly believe that if I didn't have wounds around certain situations, I wouldn't have been called certain things. And I go into depth on that podcast about that. And so I just want to make sure that I'm being clear that I really share my messages because we all have wounds, we all have dark places, and a lot of us are too embarrassed to ever bring light to them, and that's what keeps sickness going. That's what keeps mean-spirited people empowered. That's what keeps, secrecy and feeling shame is what keeps us small. And I'm really, really passionate about saying, you know what? No, these things happen to me. Here they are, and I'm okay. Because I want other people to find that light in their own. And I'll always speak the truth. And people have tried to shut me up for many, many years. It's not going to happen ever. So
I don't see it happening.
It's never going to. Because if I can be the light for one person, for one, lighting up one of their wounds, bringing light to one corner of darkness and saying, the shame is gone. Here's what happened. We're all here to help each other out. So I just wanted to start by saying that.
It's really important that you bring this up because the topic of today's episode is what motivates you. And clearly it's not those words or those past experiences.
No, and I just...
And that's so helpful to know because for so many people that's where how health motivation comes from.
Well, and we've been fed that, in society, like, this guy told me I was ugly, so I became beautiful, and then I went to his door and was like, haha, guy. Like, no. Like, I don't care about these people that said I care for, like, I wish them well, but, like, those things weren't the catalyst for me to change. They are the catalyst for who I became, in that I use all those dark spots, I bring light to them, and then I share them with the world to say, hey, I've been to some real dark places. I've been really hurt. I've been really wounded. And this is what I did to heal. And if you want to come with me, if you want to do it, I'm not special. I'm not, out here on some limb of, like, growing up in some perfect bubble where my life was just handed to me. No. I've been through some real shit. And I've created a lot of good in my life. And the best part is, you can do what I've done and better. So come with me, And that motivates me.
Yeah, I like that. The reason I want to talk about today's episode is because I follow a guy named Gary Vee. Many people know him. He's a motivational speaker for entrepreneurs. Was really how he's portrayed in his business now. And someone asked him, "What if you could give only say 5 words to an entrepreneur to motivate them? What would it be?" And his 5 words were, "You are going to die." And if that doesn't motivate you to do something, whatever path you're in, then there's something wrong with you, basically. And that was his motivational line. And I'm curious to see how this plays out in terms of health and weight loss. And if you could say 5 words, or if you could say one line to someone who really needs to change their path when it comes to health.
I do say this, but I don't say it so harshly, because it upsets people.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what your take is. I know in entrepreneur circles, this is the kind of motivation that happens.
This is what we all...
Entrepreneurship is do or die, and it's really graphic.
It's not about that. It's about, we all get really caught up in our mundane daily dramas and our stories of who we are and who our families are and where our families came from and who our friend circles are. And
Oscar just huffed as you're saying that.
Sorry, baby.
He's stressed.
You can do anything.
Yeah, you can do it all.
What we're capable of based on past experiences or based on what our lineage did. And I never know how to say this without someone taking it the wrong way. But please know I'm pure of heart and just not overly articulate at times. The one positive thing that came out of my father passing away at such a young age and being such a beautiful man that wanted to stay here and was a complete victim of an environmental cancer. The one gift he gave me in that, from this horrid experience that just shattered our lives, was the deep understanding we're not here forever. And I got it.
Yeah.
And it changed everything. You'll never be as young as you are right at this moment. You'll never be in this moment with the person you're with, whoever that person is, ever again at that moment. I get, that I'm so acutely aware of this now. I'll get emotional.
Right.
David and I will be doing something and it'll bring tears to my eyes because I'll think, well, this is,
Yeah, right.
As young as we'll be, this will be, like, it's beautiful and it's tragic and it's life. Mm-hmm. So if you can really get it.
Yeah, and clearly you have. And the way you articulate this is very, very motivating. This is the same thing, but it's like from a personal level, like, okay, this blunt quote is "you're going to die." But the way you see it is, okay, I've been through these dark times. I've seen people who have,
wanted to
stay here and have actually lived through this. Yeah. And, have said things like, you can do anything, and I don't know, like, you're in a position now where you have, like, understood.
I guess when you actually get that this is it. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is not, maybe someday when I win the lottery, or maybe when Prince Charming rides in on that white horse, or when I get to that perfect body shape and I'm in slow motion running down the beach, this will be how I allow myself to feel. And I mean, I've written blog posts about this since 2008. One of the biggest ones that really took off was about buying myself flowers. And when I understood that, you know, like we put ourselves in these little prisons. And one of the little constructs that I still had a blind spot was this flowers thing. Because I kept telling myself, and I would journal, and I would say, okay, when I'm at a point of certain amount of wealth, I want fresh flower delivery every week for myself and for my mother. It's something I always wanted to do. And then, like, I had this aha moment, like, because I was never having fresh flowers, and I loved them, and they made me feel, you know, feminine, and it made my house feel healthy and luxurious, and it was just a simple thing. And I thought, okay, like, I don't have a lot of money, but I can still go out and buy, like, a grocery store bouquet. It was when you were in school, and like, all my money was going towards our life. And I just had this aha moment.
Yeah, like this
I could buy myself $9 flowers, and it still has the same feeling. Like, no, it's not the white glove delivery service, and like...
No, but in this moment, you can experience it.
So I went and did it, and I continually did it once a week for myself. It felt so good, and it changed everything. It brought more wealth into my life. So, I mean, you can use this in any way. In business, for me... Sorry, I'm out of breath today, you guys. I'm 8 months pregnant, and... she's sitting, I don't know, on things and making it really challenging.
Yeah.
You know, I've used it in business a lot of ways. I used to hold myself back, you know, like I used to not tell the truth, like all the way. I used to really censor myself because in life, as my personality, I've been told that I need to tone it down.
The truth about your history and your stories.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everyone's always like, okay, that makes people uncomfortable, Amy. Don't tell. Come on.
Yeah.
Just shut it down a little. Like, you know, just be pretty, be nice, be easy. And that's never been who I am. I've had a hard go, and like I'm not, you know, easy. My life hasn't been easy. You know, so in business, it's been that aha moment of, well, you know, some people are going to be offended. But if I don't tell my story, and if I don't tell my truth...
This is your opportunity, this is...
At some point, I'm going to be reflecting on that and say, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I tell the truth? Like, all the way.
Definitely. Would you also say that you're motivated by regret?
Well, you're going to say I am. Because it's the worst feeling in the world for me, and you know it. Like, regret, I might as well be stabbed in the heart when
But since this time, so we're talking about this quote, you're going to die. And if you've lived through someone really close to you passing away too young,
right,
you know the ramifications of this. And for you, I feel like when you envision the next moment in time, or when you're planning, you can see potential regret if you don't do something. You don't take the action.
You know I use it. I use it to prevent myself to do abusive behaviors.
Well, it's so funny because a lot of people say if it's something in the past, just leave it behind.
No, I'm a learner. I think that life is about learning and evolving. I don't think we're here to be stagnant. I don't think we're here to be safe. I don't think we're here to stay the same. I think it's like the ocean. You know, it's always changing. It's always evolving. And that's the beauty of really understanding that, like, whatever you are experiencing right now will never be the same, good or bad.
Yeah.
You know, this concept of dying, it's not like this guy came up with it. We're talking about this is, you know, the basis of Buddhist principles. You know, the basis of...
Yeah, it is the basis of Buddhist principles, that's right.
Lao Tzu talks about it.
Yeah, Lao Tzu. Either everything matters or nothing matters.
You know, that's why you see those monks, they make these beautiful sand, take days and weeks and weeks. I forget what they're called. It starts with an M, I think.
They did one at the White House.
I forget what... Anyway, you actually know you're thinking of on House of Cards.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Was that on House of Cards? Wow. See, this is when television merges into real life. On House of Cards, they did one at the White House. And for me, that was reality, because House of Cards is real. So if you didn't know that already...
We don't have the news.
Now you know. House of Cards is actually... This is happening. And the Buddhist monks are going there.
Anyway, the monks, I think it starts with an M. Anyway, they do these beautiful art pieces in sand, and they're dyed pieces of sand, and they take weeks and weeks, and like just unbelievable concentration, and they, I think, hum songs while they do it, and like they're stunning. And at the end of constructing them, they destroy them. So it's a non-attachment exercise, but it's also, you know, the metaphor of nothing stays, everything is fluid. Yeah. Right, so...
And it also happens in real life. It doesn't just happen on television.
No, that was just really struck me funny. I was like, I think Robin Wright was there.
You know what? Why was she at the White House? It's so funny. It's so funny. I love it.
So, I mean, yeah, I use it in many different ways, but I don't go in with the, we're gonna die. I mean, I do privately with myself. But I wouldn't... People aren't as... Like, I like brashness. You know, I like a jolt of brashness. That works for me. Like, it kind of gives me a wake-up call. Some people get offended and will run the other way. So, if that is too much for you, like, that's just, I just use life is fluid. And, you know, this moment will never be again. Like, you'll never be as young as you are. You'll never have the certain circumstances that you have right now. So, if you're waiting, you're holding yourself in a prison that isn't real. There's nothing to wait for. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
You know.
I think on my side of things, and I'm sure, I think I know where you'll go with this afterwards, but when I'm thinking about my health and doing things that are extremely healthy, then I can, if I'm not doing them, I guess the opposite of that is I can see negative ramifications literally instantly. If I'm not taking care of my diet and if I'm not exercising, I feel fatigue. I get rashes, I'll have asthma flare-ups, I'll have, I'll have back pain, I'll have a whole host of, like, acute symptoms in just a few days of, say, you know, poor eating, or, like, if I go on the first couple days of vacation, if I just eat terrible and have a couple nights of alcohol and all these things, I'll feel awful and I'll have physical acute symptoms.
I find if you're really busy and don't have enough fruits and vegetables, this happens to you too.
It's really quick for me. But this has taken a long time to recognize. And, you know, as soon as you recognize that, you can make the changes and then you can be well prepared. Yeah. For me, it's extremely motivating because when I do something healthy or when I contribute positively to my health, I can see positive ramifications as well. So you see the opposite thing.
Exactly.
And I know for you, a lot of the times, when we're talking about motivation, you talk about how it just feels good. Like, it feels like you're contributing positively to yourself, and when you contribute positively to yourself in this way, it's perpetual. It perpetuates itself, right? It continues.
For sure. And you're right. I do use regret. That is a good way to put it, because I'm just thinking about because I don't go there like you do. I don't get sick anymore. No. I don't, because I don't go there. Like, we yesterday went to, like, one of the best bakeries in Vancouver, and I just stood there and I was like, okay, I could get basically 4 of these things look amazing, but I just thought in my head, I said, okay, have a moment with yourself. How do you feel right now? And it was really, really hot. The baby felt really, really heavy. You know, I'm at the point now where you're, like, retaining more water. My boobs, I could feed a small country. And I'm like, you know, if I pile food that's hard for my body to digest on top of this, how am I going to feel? I'm going to feel bloated. Then I'm going to get cranky. Then I'm going to be hot. Then I'm going to be no fun to be around. Then I'm definitely from this sugar going to get some breakouts. So let's add some acne to this beautiful situation. And I just thought about it and I thought, well, I'll regret it. It doesn't feel good. Mm-hmm. So then I said, no, I don't.
You had the foresight, though.
So instead I went and got a herbal iced tea. It's not that. I use, because regret to me is like, I can't even put words to what I felt like when I haven't seized moments in the past, or I have not made good choices. Because I'm not a blamer. I take accountability for all my crap. And it's just, I work really hard at avoiding that feeling.
Yeah. Would you say it's embarrassment about not making change? So
oh, yeah, and I'm big on embarrassment.
Right, yeah, like doing the same thing over again. Oh, I've
and
been
people
here.
Don't like hearing that either. Like, I like using death, embarrassment, and regret. I love those things. And people are like, what? And I do.
Well, they're extremely powerful, but they're very uncomfortable.
Right, but they're here to help us. And
well, it depends on how comfortable you are with being uncomfortable.
But if you can get it, and like you can use the gentler versions of those. But embarrassment, embarrassment drives me all the time.
Yeah.
I love when I get to a place, if something isn't working in my life, and I can get to a contemplative place where I actually get embarrassed about it, I know that there's nowhere else but up, and I'll never do it again. Mm-hmm. It's empowering. If you can get embarrassed about holding yourself back and actually get, oh, I was blaming all these people for overeating. Oh, I was blaming social situations for overeating. Oh my gosh, I was blaming my genetics for overeating. Like, this is so stupid. I am better than this. I am so embarrassed that I held myself back for like a decade and a half. I'm never going to do this again. And if you can get to a place where you feel embarrassed and get that you did it, no matter what else happened, if you were abused when you were young, if, you have unsupportive friends, if, your friends all get away with eating cheeseburgers and have abs, if, you have the worst husband in the world, it doesn't matter. If you get to a place that none of those things matter, as hard as they are, and I'm not taking away from any of it, been there, it's all hard. If you can understand that the only person that's accountable for your actions and your results is you, and you can get to a place of embarrassed about holding yourself back, you're going to change. You're going to change. There's nowhere else but up to go. So I love embarrassment. Embarrassment has been an amazing catalyst for me in my life. And I avoid...
Yeah, it's true. Now, I have to play devil's advocate here because a lot of people might be thinking this.
Sure.
When you go here, so many people, and I've been there too, will go to this shut down stage.
Oh, you don't stay there.
Okay.
Because you're not going to be here forever. You don't have time to waste on this stuff. You can't stay in self-deprecating, self-loathing, oh, I feel so bad, taking my problem so seriously, because, then you use the bigger one. You're not going to be here forever. And, at the end of your life, if you're laying on your deathbed, you're not going to be like, I wish I spent more time contemplating how I didn't look good in a bikini. You don't want that either, right? So it's about finding that balance. Do the things to be the person you want to be today. Create who you want to be that makes you feel free in your body, that makes you feel good, that you don't have to sit in front of your closet and cry anymore. Erect that so that you have energy, you feel good. It's all just there, it's happening, it's rolling. So you can live.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I didn't know we were going to go here with this embarrassment thing, but it's fascinating to me because I think that once you get through these big things with this, where you're contributing negatively to your health. Once you get through those and you understand how to not do that, then you become comfortable with embarrassment and you can use it for the little things. So
this is what I'm saying. You use all those things. You use embarrassment. You use death. You use regret. You use those. Those are tools like you would a shovel.
Right.
But you wouldn't sit around after you dig your garden with the shovel and just stare at the shovel and be like, okay, now I'm going to bring the shovel to the grocery store. Now I'm going to take the shovel with me while I go on my dinner date. No, you planted your garden. You did it. You're good. It's a tool. And then you move on.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then start to recognize the acute changes, positive and negative.
And feed them.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. There's people that, focus too heavily on, they're too confident in their tiny changes, which, is a balancing act that I have to explain. Eating 1 cup of broccoli in a week and then just eating takeout isn't, that's not enough. But then there's a ton of women that I work with that do amazing things the majority of the time, but then will beat themselves up over this tiny... And I never, in saying any of this, beating yourself up is not a part of it.
No, there should be no condemnation.
No. There's no such thing. You're never a bad person. You're never an imperfect person. Even when it's regret and embarrassment... I'm still perfect. I just forgot for a second. That's where you have to remember. Okay, so when I'm saying all these things, it's not like, oh, Amy, you dummy, how could you, whatever, and then I go to... No. It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot that I'm a perfectly whole human being. And I made these choices out of fear or past memories or regret or all negative emotions, and I forgot that I was perfect. I gotta That's what's embarrassing. You forget that you're here to be great. You forget that you were born absolutely perfect. You forget that the essence of who you are is unscathed, perfectly whole, and never been touched by anything negative. That's what's embarrassing. That's what's regrettable. That's it.
There it is.
That's it.
There it is, yeah. I love it. I can't believe you took it there. I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect. This is an awesome lesson. This is a huge lesson for me a long time ago.
And if you can catch it.
I never thought of it this way.
And let it really take seed and breathe into this,
Yeah.
and really breathe into it, oh, doing this thing is harmful to me. I'm making these choices based on I forgot that I was perfect. I forgot that I'm a beautiful soul. I forgot that I am healthy. I just have to let it come out. I have to nourish my health. I have to remember that I'm just this beautiful ray of light that is here to empower and love and give and experience. Oh, that's so embarrassing that I forgot that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting to that place where you remember. The remembrance.
That's what it is.
I love it. Well, I think we've covered what motivates you. I think we got through it.
Oh.
I mean, there's some heavy stuff, but you can turn it into, like,
yeah, you can use it.
It's all about how you see it, isn't it?
And it's all about what works for you at a certain time. Like I talk about and have in the past, we're all different places. When I first started on my spiritual journey, there were certain spiritual teachers that people loved, but they talked too harshly at first for me.
Mm-hmm.
They were too truthful. Like, they were me. Yeah. Like, the way that people find me, sometimes they'll say, like, my tongue will cut like a knife.
Right.
Because I really do go right for the center of the truth. And there's nothing I can do about that anymore. It's just the filters are off.
Yeah, like I was going to say, music motivates me. some light, positive meditation.
But that's why we're together.
Yeah.
Because you are more gentle that way.
I like rap music.
Yeah, but you are more gentle, and, that's why we balance each other out. And there's nothing shameful about starting off more gentle. It's just don't get tricked into being so gentle that you don't change.
Right.
But again, even when you're using these harsh things, it's not in a damnation way. Just remember, it's not about attacking who you are. It's a fight for your best self.
Yeah, they're just tools for positive change to get to that place.
Your best. Yeah. Whatever your best is.
Yeah, it's great.
And there's no mold. Because whatever your individualized person is, your highest good, where you feel the most free and the most light, and when you're in the zone of who you are, mm-hmm. That's what it is. That's what it is. There's no mold.
When you're hitting those threes.
Well, I don't know how many of us can really relate to that, but everyone knows that moment where you're like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is who I am. This is what I feel so free. Like that moment where you feel that, that's the truth of who you are.
Well, if you've ever been doing intense cardio, when you hit that endorphin peak, you feel that.
Sure. I mean, I used to use, though, when I was a child, topless in my diaper at the beach.
Right, yeah.
Just no idea that, I had to go out and earn money. There was no idea of, being sexualized as a woman or, being treated a certain way. There was no idea. I didn't know that if I was good enough, not good enough. There was nothing. There was mm-hmm. me and nature, and my chubby little body was just perfect, and the breeze in my hair,
yeah, you can get back into that zone,
right?
Yeah, we talked about that. What is your moment? What is that vision?
Right, and then that's what you breathe into. Yeah. And as crazy as it sounds, I feel like her. Yeah. 80% of the time in my life, I feel like her. I feel like a silly, free, perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty great. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
I love it. That's Healthy Rebel Radio for today. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.
See you.
Healthy Rebel Radio is presented by the online health and wellness center, DamieHealth.com. Since 2009, Amy Lane has successfully coached thousands of women through her signature program, the Bikini Body Program. Join today to work exclusively with Amy to unveil your greatest yet to be from the inside out. Go to DamieHealth.com for more information.
Thank you for listening to Healthy Rebel Radio. Please connect with us on our community pages on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, all at the handle @DamieHealth. For weekly recipes, articles, and all our episodes straight to your inbox, join our newsletter at DamieHealth.com. You can find all the links discussed in today's episode in the show notes. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow.